Hi guys, Chris here and welcome to my comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 5S Plus, which is on the left. In the middle is the Mi 5S, and on the right of the screen is the LeEco Pro 3. Now, all three of these devices have the Snapdragon 821 processor in there. So I'm going to start out now with the build quality of them, where it does differ a little bit. So I'd say in third place here when it comes to build quality, I'm going to have to say is the Mi 5S Plus. Now it does have a little bit of plastic around the bezel here, and these top and bottom parts here, they are made out of a plastic little strips along the top here. Now it has like a brushed metal design, and it is painted with like a clear coat paint over the top, and it has a very smooth feel to it, although it looks here on camera like it wouldn't. And you see it also has a rear fingerprint reader. Now in second place in terms of build quality is the Mi 5S. It is quite a solid device and a lot better than the Mi 5, I believe, because now it doesn't have that glass on there. It has a very thick alloy body to it. It feels very strong and really has no flex whatsoever on it, but there is a little bit of plastic around here where the front half and the glass meets up with the rear. You also get that on the Mi 5S Plus. And this one feels the easiest to bend to me, but of course it is the larger device too. This has a 5.7 inch screen, 5.1 and 5.5. So build quality, I would say that, yeah, the LeEco Pro 3 here has the advantage. It definitely feels more solid and more premium to me. And I'll explain why. The buttons, they just feel a little bit better than the Xiaomi devices. A little more quality to them. Now there is a downside of the camera sticking out a little. None of the Xiaomi devices have the camera bump, but this one does. But we do have metal along the top, metal all round, and there is no plastic with the 2.5D glass. It's just metal, the glass, and the metal rear housing fused together or put together there, and overall feels a lot better. Now with the design, there's a bit of a flaw with all three devices, and that is that they do not support micro SD cards. To me, that's a massive flaw. And both of these have 3.5mm headphones jacks. This, unfortunately, the LeEco Pro 3 doesn't have a headphone jack, a audio socket there, which is a real shame, but you have to use an adapter for Type-C to 3.5mm audio. Now, screen quality. They're all 1080p screens on every single one of them here, but there is a difference when it comes to quality. I find that the best screen would be the Mi 5S Plus, not because it's larger, but I just like the blacks on there. Feel a little bit, they look a bit deeper, slightly better color saturation, and also fares a little bit better in sunlight, definitely compared to the LeEco Pro 3. Now this one also has the smallest black bezel around the screen. The black bezel on the Mi 5 is rather large, and you can see on the LeEco Pro 3 the black bezel around here, it's very ugly, is even larger, which degrades a little bit the experience. So we have a more of a warm white on the Mi 5S, cooler white on both the Mi 5S Plus and the LeEco Pro 3. So display, the best display is definitely the Mi 5S Plus. So what about audio quality? Now I found with voice calls, the LeEco Pro 3 sounds the best. It just sounds more crisp, a little bit clearer, and the person on the receiving end said that the microphone sounded to them slightly better as well from what they heard on the Xiaomi devices when I was testing those out, making calls to the same person. So now loudspeakers, we have two downwards varying loudspeakers on both of the Xiaomi devices, and now the LeEco Pro 3 has a downwards varying speaker here, but also where the earpiece is, it doubles as a second front-facing speaker. And I do think it does make a huge difference having one extra speaker. To me, it sounds a bit better there, but I'll let you be the judge. Now I'm going to go through each device here, play the same clip one after another, and let you have a listen to the loudspeakers. So for me there, the clear winner was the LeEco Pro 3, having the advantage of that extra speaker. However, it does have one flaw, and that is it does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack, whereas the two Xiaomi devices do. Now the audio quality, when you use the adapter from Type-C to 3.5, sounds really good on the LeEco Pro 3. Again, I would give that one the win, and the 3.5mm headphone quality on both the Mi 5S and the Mi 5S Plus sounds to me identical, and it's not bad, it's still very good, but again, the LeEco Pro 3 gets the win for audio. Now, camera performance on all of them I find to be a little bit disappointing for flagship devices because not one of them has any form of optical image stabilization, and the only one that does have digital image stabilization is the Mi 5S. Now, this camera is the IMX378, and it's the same as the Google Pixel, so it's a very capable sensor. And in terms of photo quality and video quality, if you want the absolute best, I would give the win to the Mi 5S when it comes to photo quality. But for video quality, I think the LeEco Pro 3 produces the better 4K video. But then if you want stabilization with 1080p, then the Mi 5S is the way to go. Now the dual cameras on the Mi 5S Plus, I found to be, they don't really offer that much of an advantage, to be honest. You get slightly clearer photos when you use the stereo mode, which is using both of the sensors. So it makes low light photos a little sharper, a little clearer. But sometimes the difference between using the dual cameras and then just the single 13 megapixel sensor, there's really nothing in it. So winner, I would say, yes, Mi 5S, and video, the LeEco Pro 3. Now, battery life. I found that there's quite a big difference here, and naturally that is because we do have different sized battery capacities. So the LeEco Pro 3 has a 4070 mAh battery, the Mi 5S has a 3200 mAh battery, and then we have 3800 mAh battery. So in my own tests, what I've been running on the LeEco Pro 3, if you've seen my review, I managed to get almost a 12-hour screen on time, which is one of the best I have actually ever seen. It is really good when it comes to battery life. And also the Mi 5S doesn't really disappoint with about 10 hours of screen on time. Now this is continuous. What that works out to in real world use is around about 6 hours. You get maybe about 8 on the LeEco Pro, and I managed to get here 7 hours and 14 minutes of screen on time with the Mi 5 Plus. So again, I'm going to have to probably give the win to the LeEco Pro 3 because it has a larger battery there and it just seems to be a little bit easier. I don't know whether it's the operating system, the skin, EUI seems to be a little bit easier on the battery life. Now in terms of speed, they've all got the Snapdragon 821 on there, Adreno 530 graphics. So the very fast chipsets for an Android device, it's one of the fastest you can get at the moment. Now, if your benchmarks are your thing, and you do like that, then the LeEco Pro 3 comes out with higher scores all the time. For me, with these three devices, it comes out a little bit faster. Now, when you're actually using this in real world use, I would say it doesn't make it actually faster. It all depends on the UI. So we have EUI 5.8 on the LeEco device here, and then we have MIUI 8 on the Mi 5S and the Mi 5S Plus, which feels a little quicker and a little snappier than what is on the LeEco Pro 3. So LeEco Pro, I find that the EUI sometimes has a little bit animation stutter. So when you're going to recent apps and moving around, I noticed that it can have a little bit of stutter, where MIUI to me feels a little bit more refined, a little faster, a little more fluid. Alright, so that's my little comparison there. So just to make things easy, I'm going to quickly summarize. If you want the best quality 1080p display, get the Mi 5S Plus. And if you want the best battery life, the LeEco Pro 3. Also, the best build quality goes to the LeEco Pro 3. And if you want bragging rights with the best and to benchmarks, go for the LeEco Pro 3. The all-rounded device, I would say, would be the Mi 5S. If you're after the best image quality, that has the best sensor in it, takes the better photos, I would say. Out of these three, it has the best image quality photos. Now, video quality, 1080p, the win will go to the Mi 5S with its digital image stabilization. 4K video, however, I would say comes out better on the LeEco Pro 3 here. So if I was going to pick one of these devices to keep and sell the other two, which one would I go for? You might have already guessed, but I would go for the battery life and the build quality and the audio call quality of the LeEco Pro 3. I like that a little bit better, despite the occasional little micro stutters I get in EUI. I'm hoping that can be fixed later on with some firmware updates. So that's the device I will go for. Hopefully this video made your choice between these a lot easier, and I hope to catch you back in the channel soon. Bye for now.